guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're going to be shaving the dash and trying to get this Beetle speedometer into it. If you remember, about a year ago, I made a video on this and we completely failed. So today, that's all gonna change. So we're gonna start with removing all of this aluminum trim. I have a few rivets that need to be drilled out on the back. And if you watch that video, you'll remember we started getting this cut in and realized that it's kind of in the wrong spot for the Beetle steering column. So we're gonna need to move it over to the left a bit. And I've also decided that we're just gonna shave everything out. We're gonna shave both glove boxes, the ashtray, and this radio slot. Let's get these rivets drilled out and get the trim off. So we've got all the trim removed. We're down to bare bones and bird shit. So next we're gonna take some cardboard and just make templates for all the holes we want to fill in. After we're done with that, we'll cut them out of metal, tack them in, basic shit. So you can kind of get the gist of what we're trying to do here. That'll kind of fit in there like that. This is not a sponsorship, but hit me up. So I'm gonna get the rest of these templates cut up and see if we got the metal that we need. Job done. This is what we got. We have a Miller Lite dashboard, but these are all the templates we're gonna need. So we gotta cut all of these obviously out of metal and tack them in. I was looking over here before in our little stash of metal, and I think this is what we desire. If not, I have, this might be it. I don't know. I have plenty of metal. I bought some metal last year just for this project, just for whatever. This piece I left outside for a little too long, but I mean, it's a little warped. But I think parts of it can be used, so we'll be okay. What's up, baby? So basically, yeah, we're gonna use these templates to cut out of one of many different sheets of metal we have not decided on yet. I'll probably measure the gauge of the metal of the dashboard and just see if I have something that matches. And then we'll get it all tacked in. I'm gonna fully close this in and then cut the bezel in. We're gonna have to make like a nice hump because I want it to face forward at me. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but that's gonna be it for tonight. As you can see, it's cold and I'm trying to survive out here, but we'll pick it up at a later date. So next day, and we're starting to cut this stuff out of metal. I've cut a couple of pieces out, but I think I want to focus on this one here just because it's going to be the toughest. I'm just doodling on there. That's kind of going to be center of the speedometer, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get it all to fit. So I might just cut this so it sticks up and then kind of fill the pieces back in. Let's try that first, and if we got to recut it, we will. But that's where we're at. So we've kind of got the speedometer kind of cut out of there because I want that to stay flat. As you can see, there's a bit of a curve to this. So what we're gonna attempt to do is just roll this so that it lines up over here. And then we'll be able to cap kind of my speedo outline. And hopefully that gets us what we need. Like I said, this is kind of trial and error. Never really done anything like this. So this is just what makes sense in my head. Obviously it's gonna be cleaned up a little bit. But you know, you can kind of get the picture just like that. So all we can do is try. We have plenty of metal, so if we have to redo and go back to the drawing board, that's what we'll do. But let's get started. So this is kind of the idea. Did a little doodle for you in case you didn't realize what a speedo is. But we're gonna curve this back and then we'll cap the top, and that'll give the illusion that it's kind of coming out of the dashboard. I have a little more work to do here just to get this to fit better. We are gonna put kind of some mud all over this because we're gonna paint it. I wanna do like an ivory color for the whole thing and probably some pinstriping or whatever. So mud will definitely be on here, which will help, but I want to get everything a little closer. So I'm going to work on that and then start tacking it in. So we got this loosely welded in. We're still gonna have to cut more out of it, so to make kind of the eyebrow. So I don't wanna finish welding it. Took me a little while to get the welder dialed in for the sheet metal, so that's why I grinded it, so you guys don't know how shitty I am at welding. Ground it. But this is the idea next. We have this little eyebrow, we're gonna cut it in, start fitting it in, and see if we can't make something happen. Yeah. Camera died, but that's okay. So basically that brow I got fitted in and cut in and partially welded up, as you can see. That's kind of the idea of it. So the speedo faces towards us the best it can. Obviously I'm gonna full weld this out, but there's gonna be a skim coat of mud on this as well, so I'm not too worried about it being perfect. As you can see, I marked out the speedo, drilled a couple holes. I'm gonna try to use a body saw to cut this out. This is smaller than the hole will need to be, but I'm gonna start small because I don't want to screw it up. I think I'm going to try the body saw. I'll put you on a time lapse. The compressor is going to get loud, and we'll go from there. So got the hole for the speedo roughly cut out. I had to use the die grinder because my body saw broke, but I don't think either of those tools is the proper one. But I'm real pumped about how this is turning out. Obviously got a lot more work to do. We're gonna have to kind of cut this in or at least remake these brackets to be able to hold the Beetle speedo. The bezel will fit in there nice. I think tomorrow I'm just gonna start filling in the rest of the holes because now I know that my idea for the speedo is gonna work, which was the main thing. The rest of it's kind of straightforward, tack, flat pieces of metal. So we'll get back on that tomorrow and hopefully maybe we could lay down some mud tomorrow too, so we'll see then. All right, it's the next day. We're back. We got our very safe heat setup going. Just trying to put some degrees in here. We are going to get back on just closing up all the holes. I have this piece cut. This piece is tacked in. I just have to kind of work this one a little bit to get it fit the way I want to, so I'm going to get started with that. So I've got this piece fitting all nice. I have a little work to do over here, but we're just gonna tack it in and then kind of work this end. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cut out and tacked in, all of the panels. It's kind of a lot of repetitiveness, so I don't think I need to show it all. But I'll get that done and we'll bring it back, see what it looks like, and then we can move forward. All right, so batteries are dead, consumables are consumed, and we ran out of propane. So obviously I need a supply run. I just want to get you back up to date with where we're at. I've got 4 including this, panels cut in. I'm gonna cut this last one out, and then I have this small little hole patch, which I might keep. I might do like a push button or something, but I have not decided. So this is where we're at. I'm gonna run, get some supplies, and we'll be back. Final piece, rough cut. So let's get it trimmed up and fitting into place. All right, so this is where we're at. We got the piece fit in nice, all welded up. Obviously, I still have to grind the welds down, but that'll be fine. I recently got a new welder, if you could see it, a Miller 211, which is kind of my dream welder. So I'm still dialing it in. There's a lot to learn. It's a much bigger, more powerful welder than what I'm used to. So we'll get it. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I've also been messing around. This is a Beetle headlight switch, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of my thoughts. The holes are like just too big, so I might do like maybe like an oversized copper washer, and I'll polish it, kind of give a nice look to it. Also, either way, I'd need to weld a washer on the back because I need a little more thickness to get this to tighten up properly. The other option is weld these shut, drill new holes in them, but that seems pretty annoying. Still haven't filled this hole in. I was talking about maybe putting a push button, but I think I'm gonna get rid of this hole. I think I might just do like a hidden key ignition here. We have plenty of options with this setup. We're doing a custom dashboard, obviously. What I wanna get on next is just refining this hole and actually getting a speedo set in it so we can see what it looks like. I still have plenty to do on this. I'm gonna drill this rail out because this held like a rubber trim on it, but because we're moving the steering wheel over, it's not really gonna work. And I think I'd rather just have like a more minimalist look rather than having these gaudy pieces of trim everywhere. So I'm gonna get started just making that hole big enough. Like I said before, this hole is not the proper size. It was just kind of a rough cut. So I have to kind of just grind it out, and we'll try to get a speedo in there. That's what I want to see, because that's going to show us exactly how this thing's going to look. I'm pumped on it, and I think it's going to be a pretty special part of the build. So I started just trying to finish weld out this area because there are still some spots I want to get a little more weld in, and we ran out of gas. So I'm not going to be able to put in the speedo section that I want to. So we're just going to pick it up tomorrow, get some gas. All right, so we're back. Happy New Year to everybody. As you can tell, I decided to scrap the speedo section that we had. It was just out of shape and wasn't working. So I cut it out of a dash we had out back, and this is what we got. This is lightly fitted in right now. As you can tell, it needs a little trimming to just sit down there, but I figured this would be a perfect time to kind of put a speedo in. This speedo is a Euro speedo that was in my Zwitter when I got it, and obviously I put a correct Zwitter speedo in it. So what I think we're gonna do is just kind of mock it up and get a proof of concept of what this is gonna look like. We'll get the bezel in, this in, and see, make sure it looks right with the dash before we go finishing all of this off. Looks good. Everything is lining up as I want it to. The bezel even goes with our little arch we cut in, and that was not planned. I thought the speedo was going to sit a little lower, but it's going to give a perfect contour, a rounded edge up here when it's all said and done. So I think what we're doing is good. I do want to fix this here. If you could see a little indentation, this is where the Renault steering column was. I think I'm going to shave that out and kind of graft in the bottom of a Beetle dash, and that'll give me also the supports, stock supports for a Beetle steering column. I think that's the best way to go with this, but that's going to be another day because I am done for the day. It's New Year's Day. I hope everyone had a great year. I wish you all the best in the year to come. And I got work in the morning, so we'll pick it up tomorrow. So I got the speedo ring welded in. I also cleaned up a bunch of welds. I got the little hole that was here all filled in. As you can see, everything fits flush now. I'm really loving it. So next up, I'm going to wire wheel the whole thing and get it in a primer. Once it's in a primer, we could kind of sand the primer down and get some filler going and just start smoothing it out. So it's all wire wheeled. As you can see, there's definitely some pitting in it, but we'll fix that with filler. I want to just make sure I neutralize the rust, but for tonight, well, I'll probably spray it down with some neutralizer, and then I'd like to get it in one color and kind of mocked up in the car just to kind of get an idea. I have no patience. Rust neutralized. So I'm gonna give it like 20 or 30 minutes just to finish doing what it does, and then I'll get it cleaned off and we could get it into primer. Let's go. So this is happening. Not good. Obviously I already had it under control when I filmed the last clip, but this thing was burning behind my back. There's a good 1/8 inch burned out of the top of this. Not good. So what happened was it's freezing out, and I painted this here, as you can see, and I wanted to just run a torch over it because, oh man, there's like just plastic burnt everywhere. I was just trying to run a torch over it just to heat up the area it was in for a couple of minutes. And I lit this torch with this. Pretty basic. What I didn't realize is there's a lock on it. And I must have hit it, locked it, and then placed it down. And it lit the plastic socket racks on fire. And then I had the torch burning, of course, so I can't hear it behind me, and I start smelling something, and it must have been, I don't know, it must have been a good 2 minutes, and I turned around, and look, like all of this. It was on fire for a good minute, behind me, 2 feet. But luckily, that's it. It's not a big deal. A little burn in the top of the toolbox, but that could have been bad. I might get rid of that little locking torch because that was annoying. But anyway, back to what we're doing. It's in one color now. So from a distance, it looks pretty sick. What I'm gonna do is put the speedo back in with the bezel, put it in the car, and that's gonna give us a good idea of what we're looking at. This is not the color. All right, so I'm super pumped on how this is coming out. We have it in primer. Tomorrow, we will sand it down and start putting filler in it. Obviously, it's rough. You could see it more now probably than you could have now that it's one color. But it doesn't matter because we'll get it all done. It looks great. It's what I want. And it's going the way I want it to go. So besides this mess, it was a good day. We'll get back at it tomorrow, sand it down, get some filler on it, and hopefully start smoothing things out and making it a more finished product. All right, so we're back. We've started sanding the areas where there's gonna be filler, and this is what we got. So I'm gonna start mixing some up and clean this thing off with some acetone and then get it applied. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Get another scraper here. All right, so I've gotten the first batch mixed and applied to some of the dashboard. I think I'm just gonna continue on because I need to be working quick and I don't do this often. So I'll get it all applied and bring you guys back. So this is where we're at. We reapplied, sanded, reapplied. Now we're waiting for this to cure. This might be the last application. We will see. But once it cures, we'll sand it down and see where we're at. So we're all sanded down, looks pretty good. Next, we're going to wipe the whole thing down, clean it up, and put some high build primer on it and see what it's looking like. All right, so we got the high build primer on it and it's looking pretty sweet. It still needs some work. Obviously our little, I don't know what you want to call it, our little scallion here, we need to work the shape a little better. There's a couple of low spots along it. I don't know if you can see. Also, this brow needs to be shaped in this area. And then just some pitting that I found from just wire wheeling and all that I'm going to need to just do a skim coat on. But it's really looking pretty good. I want to let the primer cure fully, so it's a little cold. It's about 50 degrees, which is like low end of when you should be using the stuff to begin with. So I'll leave it overnight, and then tomorrow I'll get back. This isn't even finished sanded either. This is literally 80 grit. So I'll hit it with some 180, and then we'll go up from there and just try to get it the best we can. And then after that, we're gonna paint it. I think ivory to match the beam is probably what we're gonna go with. The reason why I went with a brown primer is because I was thinking about doing brown, kind of match the rust. That's what it was, as you saw earlier in this video, originally when I got the car. But I think the ivory is what we're gonna go with. It'll kind of hide imperfections better too. So I'm really stoked at how this is looking, and we'll get back at it tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and this is where we're at. I put it in some white paint just to give me a better idea of where the highs and lows are. It's getting there, but what I'm learning, as this is my first kind of body work project, is that it's a lot of back and forth. Sanding, filling, sanding, painting. So I don't think I'm gonna show all of it. I've already shown enough. It's gonna be very repetitive and time consuming, so I'll just go ahead and do it off camera. But let me know down below what you guys think. We're back on the Renault, at least for now. If you wanna see more Zwitter, you wanna see me finish the Zwitter up, let me know. But for those that are new to the channel, this is our Renault project. It's a 62 Renault Dauphine, and it is on a 62 Beetle chassis. I'll leave a playlist up here of this project. We shortened a Beetle pen 6 inches. We narrowed it 6 inches. We have a brand new freeway flyer transmission in it. We started building a cage up front. It's on air ride, and it's sick, I think. I might be biased though. Plans for it is to get the rear air ride set up so we could roll it around and kind of start stiffening it up, putting the extra bars that we need. We have the body connected to the pen, but it's gonna need more strength. So we have all the air ride stuff down here, and we just gotta get going on it. But like I said, let me know, is this what you wanna see, or do you wanna see the Zwitter? But until next time, we'll see you later.